Welcome to another episode of Diary of a Wannabe Comedian with me, Belle, a wannabe comedian. I'm going to start with my favourite subject, which is free speech. I am a member of the Free Speech Union, as you know, and that means that every Friday I get a newsletter. And the first article of last Friday's newsletter was all about Thanet Council introducing a PSPO, which is a Public Spaces Protection Order. And as part of this, it's going to give police officers the power to issue a £100 fine to anyone using foul or abusive language in such a manner that can cause alarm or distress to any other person in any public place. Now, the reason that this is relevant to comedy is because Lord Young took to the roads, took to Thanet Council area with his little van. I'm sure there was other people there as well. But on the side of the van, it basically said, one of the signs, because it's an electronic one, so he puts out loads of messages, but one of them said, let me find it, stand-up comics must not humiliate hecklers. To do so is a criminal offence in Thanet. And I can see that. I can see how that can play out, because I've been in plenty of comedy shows where the comedians have been brutal, quite frankly, absolutely brutal. And in my opinion, warrant it. You know, I do appreciate that most of the time hecklers are just trying to join in, they're just trying to play, but occasionally they're not. And they do need dealing with robustly. And when you do that, that means you are likely to use the odd swear word. And there is always, these days, a snowflake in the room, let's face it. So yeah, I can see a scenario where comedians get in trouble. Needless to say, the Free Speech Union are going to challenge this. So good for them, that's what I say, and I will keep you posted on that. In other news, I went to the Equity Picnic yesterday, which is an annual thing. It's where North and South London branches join up, and I have to say that our area, South London, was not represented particularly well, if at all. If you take out the committee members, it's like, this is ridiculous. I don't know what you do to enthuse people. But then again, I got talking to somebody. I do know most of the North people that kind of come to these things. I know them quite well, and they're all good fun. But I did get speaking to someone I'd not met before, and she was really quite unpleasant. She was unpleasant. It kind of links to free speech, actually. She was unpleasant in that she was, well, quite clearly an anti-Semite. Now, I say quite clearly, I'm basing that on the fact that I was talking to someone else who I thought was perfectly pleasant, really nice. We were talking about comedy, and this other person made sure that I knew that they were a Jew. And I'm like, why is this relevant? Why would you even say that? You know, free speech, you can say what you like, but why would you? I don't understand why you would say it. And I don't understand what the relevance was to that event at all. So it did get me thinking, like, how deep is this inequity? Because I don't want any part of this. I really don't. In other news, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole anymore. Not at this stage, anyway. In other news, I went to see Human Traffic at the weekend, which was a movie from 1999, and I didn't see it at the time. And I was very surprised. Well, you know, it's one of those things that was in my mind, but I'd forgotten about it. When I sat there and the flashes up who the executive producer is, and it's like, oh my God, I know her. And so when I got out, I texted my friend and said, is this the movie? Because this is a conversation I'd had with someone, and she told me about, she'd met the writer before he'd even written it. He said he was going to write this movie, and he wanted her to be in it, actually. And in the end, he settled for her being executive producer on it. And so, yeah, it was. She was the executive producer of Human Traffic, which didn't involve an awful lot of effort. I think it just involved existing, really, and knowing this person. But, yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed the movie, actually. I wish I'd seen it at the time. I can see how it's probably got cult status now. It was on at the cinema, but it was part of their film club offering. So they've got things like This Is Spinal Tap coming up, and, yeah, quite a few good movies coming up. But I'm really pleased I went to see it, and that, like I said, that really tickled me. And also it meant that I reconnected with someone who I've not spoken to for a while. So there you go. Some good came out of that. Much love and gratitude.